All right, welcome to our kitchen where we do all of our best work. Today's video, we're going to show you all the basics of using JRV Stencil Co., company owned by me and Zeb. All right, to get started, we're using Little Black Dress and we are painting a ton of blanks. We just released our fall stencil line, which is our biggest stencil line ever. I think it was like 30 stencils or something like that.
It was a lot, and these were a lot of boards to cut out this morning.
We like to use old plywood from projects, old boards. Some of these are like from our house renovation, if you guys have followed along with that. And it's a great way to create decor for your home or product to sell in a booth or a market that doesn't cost a lot of money because you're just using scraps, which makes it also good for the environment. When I have to do a lot of signs, I usually pick one scheme. Today we're gonna have black backgrounds with white stencils, but you can certainly do a bunch of different designs. Sometimes I will stain all the wood and then stencil in white. That's always really cool. Or I'll just paint them all white and stencil in black. We're gonna show you how to frame too. It's really a basic skill that you can learn that helps save you a ton of money and makes things look really good and finished. And if you frame your signs, you're gonna get more money for them. And don't worry, you don't have to watch me stencil each and every one of these. We're gonna just show you a couple. And we're also gonna show you how to stencil on fabric and stencil on paper, actually. Because I have something I found in the old house we're working on and I just painted right over that paper. JRV Stencil Company came about because I was using a few different stencils that I had bought from other manufacturers, but I really couldn't get the ones I wanted for the types of signs that I was seeing at all the boutiques and the home decor stores and all the fun ones. So I just decided to contact a manufacturer that I had ordered from and told them what I wanted to do, and we started making stencils.
That's like the whole purpose of the stencil though, you know, you're not super great at drawing, so.
I am not.
But you still love signs.
That's true, and I like home decor, so I make things that look like if I could draw, it's what I would draw.
All right, so Jamie already has hers laid out, and she did tape. I don't usually tape, I usually just hold. I'll probably tape on mine since we are using these for pictures for the website.
Yeah, these are all of our sample boards that will go up on the website to show them what they look like on signs. I'm doing gather because fall is coming, and it's a nice thick chunky gather, which I really like. We're using DIY paint in White Swan, and I love to use this over the Little Black Dress because when you distress it, it powders and makes it look like a chalkboard, which is the effect that I'm going for on all of our signs today. I'm going to be using the Little C brush. Zeb's going to be using the new JRV stencil brushes that will be out in the next couple of months. They're really good for detail. The Little C is like my go-to, does everything kind of brush. And then the other brushes are good for different like smaller areas or whatever.
I'm really liking this one. It does kind of medium duty work. It'll do a big stencil, but it'll also get in a lot of the finer details too.
Okay, I haven't officially named them, so this one is just gonna have to do.
It's gonna be called the medium brush for now.
Okay, so I've got just a little bit of paint and I've offloaded it to where it's almost completely dry. That's gonna be your friend. I've got my stencil nice and centered and I'm just gonna take an upright motion and dab it. I don't wanna get all in the edges because then it'll go underneath and we'll have bleed through.
Little dab, little pounce. So we've got enough paint at the bottom of this can that we can't even hardly pour it out, but it's got enough to dip the brushes in.
Pro tip, when you have just a little bit of paint left and you want to throw it out, keep it because it's the perfect amount for stenciling. You'll be surprised how many stencils you can do with a little dab of paint. All right, ta-da! Oh, that's gonna look good. 2 done, 28 more to go.
Only 28. We got this.
We're gonna let this dry, and while this is drying, we're gonna show you how to stencil on fabric and give you some ideas on how to use stencils that way. We're gonna be using DIY paint in Little Black Dress to stencil this Home Sweet Home stencil on. It's got succulents on it, and this is a stool that we have covered in drop cloth.
So when you're working on fabric like this, it's important to tape it down really well because it's gonna wanna shift a little bit. And we have a video where we stenciled before it was upholstered, and that actually is a lot easier. So if you're able to do that, stencil your fabric before you stencil with it.
If it's on a hard surface, it gives you a lot more to stencil against. In this case, we had to do it this way because I wasn't confident that we could get it centered by the way I had to upholster it because we couldn't take the top off. It was a little tricky as is. So hopefully, Zeb stays in the lines.
We will see. We will see.
We get to the appropriate height here.
Okay, I'm committing.
All right, where do you want?
That's as centered as we're getting, and I'm going.
All right, I'm gonna hold it down for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna help.
Because the foam underneath has a lot of give, you gotta use a little extra,
Ooh.
well, just a little extra paint.
Yeah, not too much. You don't want it to go under the edge. We're using DIY paint, but there's a lot of different fabric paints out there. DIY, once it's dry, you just let it wait 24 hours, then you run an iron on it for 20 seconds and you're good to go. Just set your iron on a heat setting that's appropriate for your fabric. This is drop cloth, so pretty much highest setting ever will work.
Yeah, cotton basically.
Yeah. I like to wash and bleach my drop cloths before I stencil on them.
No steam though, you don't need steam.
Nope. Oh no, that would be a hot mess. Don't do steam. You can even put a piece of fabric in between your iron and what you're heat setting. The moment of truth.
All right, I'm gonna hold it. You peel the paint off and see, because this, I'm worried about this. This is really fine detail on fabric, so I want to see.
Stencil faith in you. Ta-da! That turned out pretty good. If this had been done on a hard surface, it would be even crisper. But for being done on a foam surface, Zeb did a really good job. Once it's all the way dry and heat set tomorrow, we'll cut off all these little fuzzies from the fabric. New this season are our grain sack stripes. Comes in a pack of 3. We'll show you the graphic image of these so you can get an idea. It's hard to see because they're clear. This one is the 3 even stripes.
Yeah, I'm gonna line it up and hold it because we're doing it on fabric. You could probably tape it down to like your tabletop or something, but since we have the drop cloth on here, the tape won't stick.
And I do have a piece of plastic. You could use cardboard in between bags so that way the paint doesn't get all over the place. Just a good idea, and it gives us something hard to work against. Although it's not as wide as the bag. So we'll see how this goes.
This fabric is thick enough, I think it would
I think
probably
it'd probably
be
be okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be offloading here so I don't have too much paint on here. And we'll see what we do. The big fingers are in the way, there we go.
It's going on good. The bag's kind of like a denim.
I'm using my hand to hold it as I go across because this is a long span for a stencil, and because it's not connected on each side, it likes to move on you.
Are you gonna leave it lighter in a couple areas? I think I kind of like that, almost like a faded look.
Like a worn look?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably come back and do another pass. All right, let's see what it looks like. Boom. Stripey done. Okay, it's cute as is, but I'm gonna grab some letter stencils and we're gonna personalize it.
We're doing JRV here underneath the stripes for Jami Ray Vintage. And I'm gonna do the R first. I'm just kind of centering it right here on the straps.
We might need to come back and get this part over here.
And I'm just gonna, yeah, maybe. But that's the beauty of the stencil. You can just extend it on over and do a little spot if you need to extend it along a long space.
This is fun because you can use the lowercase letter stencils to customize birthday presents. You can do different sayings. You can even make logo stuff for your shop or store.
Bam, did you see how fast that letter went on there? Monogrammed.
You're like a stencil ninja. Also, you can see how much easier and crisper it is to stencil fabric on a hard surface versus on top of foam. So this frame is plastic. It was painted gold. I did white swan, and then in it had an 80s picture. I just painted the paper in all black, and we're gonna stencil on that, wet distress and seal this, and make a sign. I'm using the Farmer's Market stencil and my little stencil brush here, and I'm just gonna come in and get it stenciled. Now I got a little paint over here, don't worry, because guess what? I could just come back and touch that up. All right. Let's get this done.
Oh, you did such a good job offloading. It's so crisp.
I actually had my brush pretty juicy. It went from 80s to a cute farmhouse signs. Never overlook old and dated frames. Sometimes you can get them for free or for really inexpensive at yard sales, and you can turn them into cute farmhouse signs. I like to give my stencils a little bit of age. When you take the white swan and you distress over the little black dress, the white swan powders and makes it look kind of like a chalkboard.
This is 1/2-inch cedar that I picked up just down at the hardware store. We leave it outside, let it age real nice. I need it to have something on the back so that it'll raise it up. I've just got 1/2-inch wood plugs, and I'm just gonna put 4 of them down here. You can use whatever. I mean, it can be anything that'll get you the distance you need for a lip. And then I'm gonna put my first board on. And I'm using 18 gauge 1.5-inch nails. Okay, that one's on, nice and secure. Then this board goes on here. And I like to stagger them. You could cut these so that they just go over the top, but it's just the way I like to do it. I like the design style of it. Because I put these little spacers in the back, I now have a little lip that I can just hang this with on pretty much anything all the way around. And you could even stencil this and make it double-sided. It's time to do the heat set. I've got my iron set on my cotton setting, basically the highest setting, and there's no water in the iron. You don't want any steam. Just taking a scrap piece of fabric, and I'm gonna go over the top of the stenciled area, moving it around so you don't burn through it, but you wanna hold good consistent pressure for about 20 seconds. And then once this is done, that paint should be pretty well sealed onto there. It'll be washable. It might fade a little over time if you're washing it, but we've had really good luck using this method. We made so many signs today, they won't even fit all on the table. We got like 12 over there that aren't even pictured here.
I didn't really think about that when I designed them all. Next time, maybe a smaller release. This is the biggest release of JRV stencils ever since we started in January. If you're interested in purchasing stencils or the paint used today, you can go to JamiRayVintage.com. But exciting news, we now have retailers all over the US and out of the US. We've got quite a few retailers as well. We're gonna drop the link below to our retailer map so you can see if there's one near you.
If you're interested in being a retailer for these stencils, visit jrvwholesale.com and fill out an application.
As always, thanks for your support to our channel, visiting our website, and helping us make more content like this. Let us know what kind of junk you've stenciled below in comments. We'd love to get some new ideas for videos coming up. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.
Hit the subscribe button.